If you have ever struggled under the cloud of depression and doubted whether you would ever be the person you dreamed you could be in work and in life, then today is for you. Using his experiences and passion for personal development and peak performance, Raghav helps people create quick but lasting results in their life. And not only does he absolutely love it, but he's very good at it too. There was a time years ago when he didn't believe he had any personal power, but after turning his life around and overcoming depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, confidence and poor health, it's his passion to help people unearth their true power and potential that lies within him. Raghav is privileged to work with a number of inspiring people from a variety of backgrounds such as CEOs, business leaders, entrepreneurs, accountants, lawyers, marketeers, therapists, actors, and I could go on and many more. He's a very passionate coach that truly believes in the power of the person or the audience in front of him and is committed in helping you get from where you are to where you want to be in the fastest time possible. Get ready for a big dose of Power Potion. Welcome to my guest today, the dynamic Mr. Raghav Parkash.
Firmer Figures knows your money, cuts down on strife. Time to trust your future. Firmer Figures, love your life.
The Firmer Figures Business Show is brought to you by Financial Gym Studios. Welcome to the only gym where someone else does the working out for you, where you get impartial tips and strategies in plain English to help you understand your money, love your business, and trust your future. Introducing your host, author, speaker, and creator of Firmer Figures, the cantankerous coach, Georgette Roland Osborne.
Thank you. What an introduction. Wow. What a reputation to live up to. But thank you. And yeah, great to be here.
I'm sure you'll be fine. No pressure. Well, now that I've done that to you, and you're sitting there going, holy cow, let me bring you down a little bit and get you to relax. I'll give you a few little icebreakers, because you're not doing it, take your blood pressure and they talk away at you so that you don't realize what's going on. So if there was to be a movie of your life, who would you like to play?
Gosh, if there's a movie of my life, who would I like to play me? Now that is a very good question. I've never had a question like that before. Let me think. Who would I like to play me? Yeah, so let me probably, if I could get anyone to play, probably my little brother. My little brother, just because he's seen my world inside out. And, when you're living your life, you think you see everything that's the truth, and you can't see everything the fullest. This is why coaches do what they do, because you get someone on the outside who sees your entire world. And, my brother sees me inside out. He sees my life from inside the house. He sees my life outside the house. He sees what I do. And I'd love to see what he thinks I do as well. I'd love to see how he would act, how he thinks I would show up, how he thinks I work with my clients. If he thinks I'm the guy that says, right, we're going to coach, right, start jumping around. If he thinks I'm a pump-up guy. I'd just love to see what he sees me as. So I think it would be a comedy, in fact. It would be the best comedy in the world to watch my brother my little brother do what I do and just see what in his world he thinks I do as a coach. So that would be, yeah.
You do. That's brave, because siblings are tough.
It'd be funny.
So,
I'd love to
that's a
do
brave
that.
choice. No Johnny Depp, but no, that's brave. Okay. Rihanna or Beyonce?
Rihanna or Beyonce? You know what? I'd go for Rihanna because I haven't obviously met Beyonce. I know someone who's met Rihanna, a few people, and they said that Rihanna is just a really great character, a great persona. I like her songs, and people might think it's really controversial, but I like her songs more than Beyonce. I like Rihanna more. I don't know, I resonate more with her, so it'd have to be Rihanna. Definitely.
Apparently, Vivo channel agrees
there we go.
She has far more subscribers. Yeah. Rihanna's channel kicked Beyonce's into the dust. So, no offense. Love you, Beyonce. Love you, B. But yeah. So,
wow.
So you're not alone. And what type of car do you think suits you? Are you an executive saloon kind of man? A sports car or 4x4?
Me, I love Lamborghinis. Especially, it's my favorite model, favorite sports car, Lamborghini. Yeah, if I had to pick one car, it'd be a Porsche Lamborghini. I don't know, I just have just a resonance towards them. Just the white Lamborghini. If I had a car, that's the one I'd go for, or even Porsches. I just love the look, the feel of Porsches, what it represents to me. So, I'm not the biggest car person in the world, but those two just stand out to me.
Okay. Now, assuming you have one, your lady's upset with you. What do you do to turn things around?
I've never been in this position before. What do I do to turn things around? 2 odds. Yeah.
This is definitely for my other half. I get tips from other people. There.
Yeah. And I've got to answer this carefully as a coach as well. What would I do? Very controversial. You see, yeah.
Don't say IKEA.
You see, part of me wants to say as a coach, you want to say, well, okay, what's wrong? You want to get underneath the surface. You want to try, but yeah.
Yeah, Reggae, if you're talking to me.
The thing is, when you're in the moment itself, you're not so high and mighty and wise. It's very easy to give advice, but if I was in the actual situation, then the first thing I'd do, if she was really upset with me, then for me, just the one thing I'm really good at is just being understanding. So rather than get heat up through the moment, rather than feel the emotion, the first thing I'd do is just really slow down for a second and just be present. Because I find that in anything, and we're also switched on to steer towards results, to go and create this result, do this with our business, do this with our life. And we're all in like fast, kick-ass action mode. The best thing to do is just slow down and get really present and get really focused. Just get back into your heart from your head. And when you do that, those are the only things I do.
Don't buy the ticket to Paris when she's still upset. Stop first and hear why she's upset and then buy the ticket, because it's all going to be, oh, so you think you could buy me off with the ticket? We were out on Friday and having these discussions and basically, how clever are men at turning it around? And that is probably the one thing to do. Just listen. And last but not least, not including Richard Branson, who in business do you most admire right now?
Who in business do I most admire? Even Richard Branson probably wouldn't come as my number one. Someone that I really admire, and this is based on a project that I'm working on right now, is someone called Lord Gudden Billy Murray. Now, Lord Gudden is the founder of Cobra Beer, and what's really just blown me away, the reason I'm just inspired by this person, is when I came to university, when I was at Oxford Brookes, my uni, Lord Gudden rocked up, and he gave this amazing talk about his journey, the story of Cobra Beer. And when you talk about business, when you talk about brand, when you talk about creating a real business, that's what he's all about. Everything just is so perfect. I mean, his story, the meaning behind the beer. If you look at the bottle, it's got the story written on the bottle. And his journey is just incredible. He's a real entrepreneur. He's almost failed several times. He's bounced back, failed, bounced back, failed, bounced back. His story is sensational. But the thing that really blew me away was the person he is. He's a really loving, giving, charitable, amazing human being. So though he's achieved lots of success, he loves giving back to other people. He started a foundation called the Cobra Foundation. So he's someone that really understands the power of paying it forward, the power of giving back. When you reach the top, when you really succeed, give back to the people around you. He does that through service to the House of Parliament as a Lord. He does that through the different boards he sits on. He's a really amazing human being. And, I just love that about him.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise the name. I know who you mean. I know the story. I wouldn't have been able to quote his name if I'm honest. But yeah, no, okay. Now let's go back a bit. There's a quote from you that it said, the clients I work with are already successful. They don't need coaching, but they want coaching. They want the edge. They want to get from themselves and from life. Now your story is very different to that earlier on to where you are now. So talk us through that transition from, let's go back to what were you doing before you started your own job, working for yourself? Who were you then?
So before I started working for myself, I was in a business development job doing sales and marketing, and that was okay. It was a good job. The first job I went into, that was a bit crazy, a bit of a disaster, car crash. I just went into the wrong job completely. And the second job was a complete transition. The first job, ruthless, rough environment. I didn't have great managers. The second environment, I was in a really beautiful family, close-knit environment, which is incredible, which made it really hard to leave the job I was in, because I genuinely loved with all my heart the people I was with. It was beautiful, great people. But yeah, I was doing sales, marketing, business development, and that's all good, but there's nothing like following your passion. When you discover your passion, it doesn't matter what else you're doing, that becomes more and more insignificant as you do more of what you love. And when you really discover that, that's all you want to do. So yeah, I was in the typical corporate 9 to 5 sales and marketing. That was a good experience, but I'm grateful I love what I do now and I do this full time.
How do you go from working for somebody? What happened for you to make that leap?
Well, I want to come back to this whole concept of burning the boats, because I just want to really hit this myth and hit the nail on the head. a lot of people that I've coached said, Rag, I've got to burn the boats. I've watched videos about Richard Branson. He didn't go to uni. Steve Jobs didn't go to university. I've got to go and launch a business. I've got to stop my job. I've just got to invest in this business. I'm like, whoa, slow down for a second. People don't see the truth. When you look at someone like Richard Branson, he went to a private school. He had money behind his name, and he did something called protecting the downside, which I'm sure Steve Jobs did. Protecting the downside is not taking stupid risks. It's taking calculated risks. So that's what I did to go from a part-time, like working in a 9 to 5 to doing what I love. Even Gary Vaynerchuk, he talks about it too. So I've coached people because one guy said, Rag, you've got to coach this guy. I know his son. He's watched this Richard Branson video. He's burnt the boats. He's dropped out of uni. He's now busking in the street. And I was like, let's just slow down. I said, when Richard Branson started Virgin Atlantic, and I'm referencing this because it's important, but when he started Virgin Atlantic, when he bought the planes of the guy who owned the planes, he said, if Virgin Atlantic does not work, I get to sell the planes back to you at the same price I bought the planes off you from. And that's amazing. He basically covered the foundation. So when you're building your business, you don't have to suddenly just go into it full time. You can transition, work in your 9 to 5, get the skills, get the knowledge, get the insights, create the income from your part-time business. And when that builds up to a certain point, you've got this critical mass, then you can leave what you're doing in your 9 to 5 and follow your passion. Because if you don't, and especially as a coach, if you get into coaching and you haven't got money coming in, you haven't got business set up, you become a very needy coach, and you coach out of ego rather than the heart. You're coaching to get the money versus coaching people you want. And that's why, as you said, Georgette, I love the people I work with. I'm very selective about who I work with, and I can be because I've built this business in this way. So the thing I did was just discover what I want. Discover the business. Get out there. Get wet. So while I'm in my 9 to 5, get out there. Get stuck in. Get wet. See the business you want to set up. See if it's for you. Create the foundations. Lay the foundations. Build the foundations. And when you've got something solid and you've built it up, then transition into a full-time business. And it's the best decision I've made.
And during that transition, what did you
even with
struggle
the coaching business, there's lots of uncertainty. If you ask every coach, I don't think there's a coach out there. So unless you're Tony Robbins or something like that, I don't think there's any coaches out there that say, my biggest problem is I've got too many clients. Oh my, this is a horrible. I've got too many clients. I've never heard a coach say that because the biggest challenge is actually having enough clients for every coach. Some of the top coaches I know, they have months where they have no money coming in, and that's just how it works. So it's dealing with that uncertainty. So for me, I became really tough-skinned. For me, it's being able to sail through moments of uncertainty, because when you start coaching, it's like any business. You get clients that don't show up, clients that don't pay for products, clients that aren't committed. That's probably the biggest challenge. Getting people that are super hungry and committed, which is why I work with the people I do today. This led me to that. I love commitment. So it's firstly, getting in front of the right people you want as well, having the right people show up with their commitment. Every coach goes through this journey. You have to go through that to get to the place you want to be. And it's just dealing with setbacks and failures as well. So, I failed a lot, had lots of mistakes in my business, loads of things I didn't do right, loads of things I didn't do correctly. And as you're always doing, it's bouncing back from that. So it's just developing that emotional tough skin as well, which happens. But there's many struggles, but the big one is just the uncertainty that you've got to deal with.
Well, you say bounce back, and I know you didn't bounce back because you are a very strategic person. So there is a lot more to it than that. You see what I mean? Talk a little bit about some of the processes that you use to get over humps. When you would hit that brick wall, maybe that month when no money was coming in and you didn't see where the next client was coming from. What were some of the things you did to deal with that from an emotional perspective and from a practical perspective?
Amazing. I love that question. Beautiful question. So I want to give you my very best stuff for this. Now, the work that I do is peak performance coaching, not motivational speaking. I don't do that because people do it, but that's not for me. I want to give people strategies that can create results, real strategies you can implement now that can last. So one of the biggest things that I do that's very like peak performance is slowing down and creating self-awareness, which is the first step. When you're going through a tough time, the reason I really say self-awareness is because a lot of us have got this ability to personalize the poor results. What that means is when our business is going through a bit of a downstage, a bit of a decline, we personalize that about us. We think, I'm not good enough. I've failed. I've made a mistake. When in fact, you're just slowing down and seeing the situation as it is with real clarity. When you're going for a place in business or time in business or in your life, you're going on a slight decline, with daytime and sunshine, there's winter and nighttime. Nothing is a constant state of perfection. This might sound like motivational speaking, but it's not. It's the truth. This is the real truth. You've got to see the situation with clarity. You're going through decline. Great. Business cycles, economic cycles, booms and slumps. That's how things work. So you're going for a moment where you can learn more about yourself. You can learn more about your business. You can learn from this failure. Because this moment is just going to be temporary. It's not going to be permanent. So when I go through that stage where I feel like things are just slipping out of my hands, I just ground myself and I look at the situation as is. I look at, number one, what does this really mean? That's a great question you've got to ask yourself, because it's the meaning you attach to something which then governs what decisions you make. So when I go for a challenging moment, the meaning I give it is, look, there's a testing moment. It's going to challenge me, but I'm going to learn something through this. I'm going to grow through this. And then the second question I ask is, how am I going to respond? So slowing down, just observing the situation, asking yourself what it really means, and then adding the right emotion with that too. So if it's this emotion means I'm going to learn something new, and then you start reacting in a really scared way, that's not congruent. That's not congruent. So you've got to think, okay, what does this mean? Great, then respond accordingly. Which is, okay, how can I now help my business? How can I now support my business? How can I now do the thing that's going to serve me most in the future? How can I ensure this never happens again? And you respond with power. Because those moments when you go and decline are your most valuable moments. They're your biggest gifts, where you learn so much and you just learn so much about yourself and your business, and you grow and grow and grow. So I respond accordingly. Those are probably some of the steps. Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, and do you think that it's possible to come out of that state, whether it be, I'll take the emotion out of it from the practical perspective, because we're still inside our own head. Do you think it's possible to move that boulder without help? Or is it purely just a change of a mindset, I can do it? Or do you then get that mindset and go seek the person, the mentor, the coach, the accountability group that can help you? Or is it possible you found to do that on your own?
It's a bit of both. It's both. Now, you can do things on your own, and very often you need to help yourself. For me to coach my clients, they first help themselves and then they come to me. The reason I say they don't need coaching is because they know they're not broken, they're not incomplete. They want coaching because they just want more from themselves. So you've got to start helping yourself. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there's no shame in having a coach, because anyone that's achieved anything extraordinary, Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, Lord Gow and Billy Moria, Alan Sugar, any entrepreneur has had a team of people. This idea that I need to go and do it myself and I need to be the entrepreneur, it's a lie. It's a lie. No one has ever achieved anything incredible by themselves. So as a starting point, you've got to look at what's in your control, what's in your power, what can you do, and how will you respond? Not react, because reacting is a victim state. If you react, you're going to be in pain, you're going to fail. If you respond and think, okay, what can I do that's in my power, that's in my control, and do what you can. If you've got a blind spot, and if you think something's not working, that's why a coach is great, because then as a coach, you go, great, what are you doing? What are you trying? Okay, how is it not working? You look at all the different angles. We look at how you can sharpen your sword, adjust your approach, and go deep into creating the results you want. There's no harm in having mentors and coaches. I myself, I've got a life coach, I've got a business coach, I've got a business mentor, I've got someone that will work with relationships, I've got a health coach, I've got someone that helps me and mentors me on spirituality, I've got an accountability group, I've got another accountability group, and then I've got loads. It goes on. Because I invest in myself, because not that I invest not because I don't believe in myself, but I truly believe in myself to get towards where I want to be. I really invest in myself. So I'd say do both. Do what you can, but also have a peer group that can support you, because you become who you spend time with.
They say, and how true it is, that for people that go to counselling, tend to be the people who don't really need counselling. It's sort of people who, they're not really that broken, but where they are, they think this doesn't feel right, so they go seek the help to get them back to equilibrium. But the people who genuinely need it tend to need to be pushed into it. And it must be in business coaching as well, no doubt, because you see people, I can so turn things around for you, but yet they wouldn't come to you, whether, like you say, if there's a shame in asking. I think we're a little bit more enlightened, I'd like to think, than that now. But yeah, that thing of asking for help. And it fascinated me that it's what they say, it's the healthy mind that seeks help, as opposed to the needy.
It's amazing. I just love how in different parts of the world, there's different cultural associations with having a coach and what it means. In an Asian environment, having a coach means that there's something wrong. And I just think, hang on, let's just slow down for a second. You play tennis, right? You got a tennis coach. Why? Is there something wrong with you want to improve your game? Okay. So would you have, I don't know, would you go to a doctor? Why don't you just heal yourself? Oh, because you need some external advice. Okay, great. Did you ever have a swimming coach? Right. So with your life coach, with your life, why would you not get a life coach? With a business, why would you not have a business coach? It's amazing how right at the top, the people that are really doing well, whether you're Tony Robbins, Richard Branson has his coach, Steve Jobs, every successful entrepreneur that we know of, that we love, has got a mentor and a coach, whether they admit it or not. Bill Gates has got a coach as well. Warren Buffett's got a coach. So these people really have coaches because they want the best for themselves. Yet I know certain people that when they've come to me and said, Rag, my friends are saying, why have I got a coach? It's really weird. But by the time we're done with the coaching, their friends are thinking, wow, I need a coach. Look at this guy's results. Look at how he's showing up differently. Look at what he's created. And they're inspired by what a coach can do. So having a coach is not a sign of weakness. Having a coach is a sign of your emotional hunger and wanting more from yourself.
So I've arrived at your dojo now, Raghav. And I'm sitting on the mat and I'm saying, help me.
Mm-hmm.
The business isn't going how I'd like it. I'm arguing with the other half. The money's not how I thought it would be. I've been doing this for ages. I'm good at it. But somehow the financial side is not stacking up. What do I do first? Where do I begin?
Mm-hmm. So what do I do and where do I begin? Well, straight away, when someone brings me lots of challenges like that, lots and lots and lots of challenges, like a series of stacks. No.
Yeah, normally it's like what?
This is great. This is great. I love it. Like the more difficult, the better. So this isn't even a difficult question, but when someone brings me challenges like, whoa, all this is going on, I just get them to slow right down for a second because there's two parts of the brain. You're creative and you're logical. Your logical is the left part, creative is the right part. If you're stuck in your logical, you can't be creative. So right now, we need to be creative and respond. You've got all this going on. If we stay in our head, we're dead. So we need to slow down. So with all of that, right now, we can only focus on one thing at a time. I'd say, what would make the biggest difference to you? What's going on? So we cultivate self-awareness. Is it financials you want to talk about right now? Where do you want to go? What's important to you? What is the shift you want to create right now in your life? With all of this going on, what is the biggest shift you want to create? So once we identify what would be the best step for you, if you could think about the next few hours, next week, if we could think about the best shift you can create right now for yourself, we look at that, we define what that is. When you said financials aren't stacking up, if that's what you want to talk about, great. What does that mean? What does that mean financials aren't stacking up? So we create real clarity about your life. It would help you create self-awareness about what's going on in your world. And then importantly, I believe in, and this is what my clients do, they take 100% responsibility for their life. So then what we do is look at how they're showing up and how they are creating that life, how they are creating those results, how they are manifesting it from their behaviors, from their thoughts, from their beliefs to their own energy, their own actions. So once we understand that, we've got this big map of what's going on, how they're creating it, then we can look at what's possible. How they can then start taking and creating those 2mm shifts that help them create the life they want.
So assuming somebody can't afford to come to you right now, just as a scenario, what's one small step that they could take today just to give them a little shift in the right direction, regardless of what the underlying problems are? A ritual, a habit, a saying, something health-wise. What's something that you hang on a peg that you, across the board, would always advise somebody to try? Some people, I've had answers, some people say meditate, for example, but what works for you, or do you find works a lot with your clients?
Mm-hmm. So what works a lot for my clients? Again, that's a really great question. What is the one thing? That's a really interesting one. What's the one thing that would really help them in the situation? I'd say it's having rituals, create rituals around something. So if it's that, Rag, I'm really stuck and I don't know where to go in my life, but look at one thing right now. What is the difference you're going to make? If it's like, if I can financially turn my business around, then that's going to help my entire life. I need some finances. So let's create rituals around that. If you want to turn your finances around, if you want to create a shift in your health or relationships, what are the things you have to do every single day going forwards? What will your daily rituals be? Because right now, the results you created is by what you do daily. So we all have rituals. And my question is whether they serve us or not. It's like, Rag, I don't have a plan for my life. Yes, you do. But your plan isn't working out. Just because you haven't set a plan doesn't mean you don't have a plan. What you do every day is your plan. So instead, create one that's going to serve you. Create one that's really going to serve you. So if you guys, for example, say, look, right now, if I lost some weight because I feel really overweight and sluggish every day, have some rituals. What are your rituals every day? What are the small actions? Are you going to have a green juice in the morning? Are you going to have some lemon water? Are you going to go to the gym for half an hour every day? What are your small rituals? Because if you do those for 30 days minimum, you're going to create new habit and you're going to hardwire your brain for a new way of thinking. You'll be a new person. You'll be showing up differently. You're going to have a new way of life if for 30 days you commit to that way of life. It's what they call the compound effect, and Darren Hardy talks about it. So start the compound effect.
Very good book, actually.
Love it.
I actually listened to it when I was working. I was like, oh my gosh, because compound to me it's always money, isn't it? So, that was an eye-opening book. So, going back to you and as a coach, and you quite eloquently explain the life, or I'd say the day in the life, probably the year in a life of a coach and the difficulties that they go through, without giving away the farm. Tell us about some of the strategies that you employ to get your customers. What is it that draws them to you, and that it's a successful process that stops you from, I'm not saying you don't go into feast and famine, but what sort of evens out that playing field a bit?
Great question. So, it all stems from this book I've read called The Prosperous Coach. It's a great book. It's a coach's Bible. If you haven't read The Prosperous Coach, and there's some parts that I don't agree with because there's no book I completely agree with, but it's a really great book for coaches just to get them started, because what it talks about is creating conversations. So the one thing that I do is I create conversations, but the way I do that is by this one principle. If you do this one principle, you're going to succeed. You're going to shine. You're going to thrive. And that's why I never worry about the competition. That's why I'm never concerned about what other people are doing, because I know I'm doing this to the best of my ability. This one thing is adding value. Adding massive, massive, massive value. I love Jim Rohn. He's one of my mentors, and he talks about adding more value than everyone else. If you can do that, you're going to stand out of the crowd. Every day I add value. I do a daily Facebook Live, where every day it's a Facebook Live where I share one tip for peak performance. One thing you can do right now, one tool, one strategy, which can create a shift in your life. And I don't hold back. I give that person everything I know around that one tool. And every day I get a message from someone saying, Rag, I really needed this today. Thank you. And it's going to touch someone out there. And from the value I add, they hear about my products, they hear about who I am, they become a raving fan. And then from raving fandom, they step up my ladder and they want coaching. They think, Rag, I love your energy, I love your brand. Because I can't work with everyone. I don't have the time and space. But what that does is by adding value, you create a big fan base around your work. And people hear about you. I go to personal development environments, and everyone's like, hey, look, it's you. I see your lives all the time. I don't even know who these people are, but because I'm adding huge value. So the key is just in your business, add value to your target audience. If it's on Facebook, add some value. If it's on LinkedIn, add incredible value. If you're going to networking events, and this is the thing to do that will really help you stand out. Don't hand your freaking cards out and not create contact with people. I see that too many times. People going around, giving their cards out, not making a relationship. Everyone you meet, add value. Slow down and ask that person, what can I do to help you? What brings you here? And be so interested in them. If you can add value, you're going to create relationships, and that is the key to business. Because people buy people.
So no, that's great. So what sticks in your mind on your business journey that you'd either regret or would rather forget?
Yeah, gosh, this is a big, big learning opportunity for me. This is a huge learning opportunity. But I remember the first seminar I ever ran, and just the thought of it does make me cringe and go, oh, I just remember it's so hilarious. The first seminar I ran, I was just an excited little kid when I was doing it. When I say excited kid, I was unleashing my kid. Now in business, be passionate, love what you do, great, but come from a business mind as well. So for me, I just said, I want to launch a seminar. I love seminars. Seminars are my dream. I love speaking. I love the one-to-one coaching, but seminars for me, it's just slightly more. I love my seminar, and I thought I need to just launch one because I love mindset. I want to launch my seminar around your mindset. So I reached out to certain people, and I booked this venue, which is a pub. So we had the seminar in the upstairs function room of a pub, this grotty, horrible pub, and I invited a range of different people as well. And the way I invited them was just terrible. They came from a meetup group. Some paid me £5. Some people paid me £20. Some paid me £10. Someone brought me a sandwich to 10 for free. The way it was done was so bad. The people it was just all over the place, the seminar. And the way it was run, it was just so unprofessional, so crazy. And at the end of it, I just thought, it was a great seminar. I loved running it, but thought, yeah, I can't be doing this again. Next time I do my seminar, I just cannot be doing this again. It needs to, and I learned from that because I just wanted to serve, and it was good. It's a story that I laugh about, but now the seminars I do on a different level in hotels, really great setup. But when I just started, I thought, I just want to serve. And I just went out there and I did this crazy, crazy seminar in the pub. And when I did my last seminar, which was amazing, we held it in a really beautiful hotel. We had 70 people in the room. I had this guy come up on stage to share, and he said, I came to Raghav's first seminar. I'm really glad that Raghav really stepped his game up because, I mean, did you see the last night? And I was just thinking, it's like, what are you doing? What are you
Thanks,
doing?
mate. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
He said, I'm really glad that, the change of venue and Raghav's a better speaker now than before as well. I was like, thank you. And that's another punch in the nuts. And he just kept going on. I was like, everyone, anyway, look, I said, we're really short of time. We've got to get moving on, but thank you for your share. And, to answer your question, and I said, by the way, you didn't answer your question about why you're here, but never mind. Thank you for just getting up there and just sharing that, which had nothing to do with the question I asked you. And yeah, it's just hilarious.
It's like the best man's speech, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, don't do it. But then you see, if you hadn't have started, you wouldn't have started. You've got to do something. And I admire people that just do something. If we don't sort of push our foot on the pedal, the car won't move. You just drive better next time, which you've shown, like you said, you've upped your game, even though you were called out. Never mind. And so what triumphs, or what's a triumph along the journey that you are, I'd say, most proud of, but, I'd assume you'd have a few, but one that sticks in your mind that says, this is what I love talking about. I love telling people that this was me. Basically, blow your own trumpet.
There's probably, it's probably two triumphs. I mean, the first one is just my seminar, getting Master Your Mindset up and running. And that was just incredible. I wanted 50 in the room. We had 65 people in the room, massively oversubscribed, had to stop selling tickets. And it was one day where we looked at the very best strategies I have to master your mindset, to create confidence, to really fall in love with yourself and be at peak performance in everything you do. Perform at your best. And everyone loved it. They said, Rag, this is just amazing. The content was just incredible. And what they told me was music to my ears. They said, Rag, you need to now do this over 2 days and go deep into the content. And that was huge for me because I love seminars. My goal is to eventually have an event at the Excel Arena, speak in front of 7,000. Even more than that's my vision. I see it. I feel it's going to happen. And that was big for me because it's just the level of impact I want to have. And I love seminars. I love speaking. And it was just great. And through that seminar, I had 2 other coaches speak as well. It was a great opportunity to help them grow. 2 people that I love, 2 brothers of mine. And it was a very beautiful, giving seminar, packed with value. It was incredible. That was a huge triumph. I suppose the other triumphs are just with the clients I get to work with the results they've created, from some getting through depression to some starting their businesses, some going for their dreams, some, one of my clients especially is going to set up their own business very soon. And it's just helping people envision their dream and make it reality. Those are the 2 things that I really love from what I do, from the speaking side to helping someone envision what's possible and then step into the most amazing version of them and go and create that life. And I've had lots of conversations like that with my clients lately, and it blows me away. And I love that aspect of the coaching journey.
And you could be in business or whatever. Is there anything that you see in the world today that fires you up and that you want to do something about? You reach a point in your business when you don't have to worry about working anymore necessarily. What's your cause? The thing that says we need to deal with that.
For me, one of my big visions, one of my big messages is to spread the message of living empowered through the world. Living empowered. I say live empowered a lot. What does that mean, live empowered? My vision is to help people, and at least 7 million people across the world, to live empowered. People in challenging environments, people in tough situations, people in third world countries. Because what living empowered means is having the tools to create the shifts you want internally from yourself. Now, I know having a coach and you do need to go to some events, and that's great, but as a minimum, there's certain things we can do ourselves to, for example, be happy. You can make a decision to be happy today. People don't realize that. They think happiness lies outside. Happiness lies in having a relationship or buying the new car, buying the new shirt. They don't understand you can be happy now. So it's teaching them the tools to create confidence from within, to fall in love with themselves from within, to be happy in the moment, to embrace who they are, to own who they are. Those are things you can do today. And that is living empowered. Empowered to make the change in your life, because when you can do that for yourself, you can do that for the people around you. So it's a ripple effect, one by one. So my vision is to send that to lots of countries around the world where they're struggling, to provide resources at very, very low cost, where they can start really living empowered and creating the shifts they want in their life. And then everything else, they can just build on that. If you go to events, you're building on the great work you're doing yourself. But you're not going out and doing these things from a place of lacking completedness. You can do that yourself. You can fulfill yourself first. And that's what I want to do. Create a big ripple effect.
And how were you different today, just as a man? What change have you seen from you maybe 5 years ago to who you are today?
Gosh, 5 years ago I was in a really, really dark place, which is why I do what I do today. 5 years ago I was in a place of massively low self-esteem, low confidence. I was overweight. I was emotionally eating, and I was just an anxious, depressed guy because I just went through my challenges. And it's just through the journey of personal development. And the reason I love personal development, and everyone that I see who's really into this game has been through something. They've been through something, they've experienced something on a deep level that's driven them to do more personal development. So through my journey, what's changed is just my confidence, my certainty in myself. When people see me, they think, Raghav, you were an emotional eater and then you were really underconfident? Like, really? I had one lady, I was walking to this event, and this one lady stopped me and said, hey, you've got to meet my friend Rag. And she said, this is Rag, he's Mr. Confident, he's doing a confidence event. I was like, oh, don't call me Mr. Confidence. Like, I'm not always confident. Like, you haven't seen my journey. So I'm in a really confident place when I'm growing. I'm here to give now, not just to take, but I love who I am. I love the people around me. I love my clients. I love the people I interact with. And the biggest thing I love through my journey is I'm now in a place where I can just give more to other people. You've got to start with giving yourself. And if you haven't given yourself the basic gifts, you can't give to the people around you. So now I'm in a place where I'm growing every single day, but I'm growing by loving. Growing by loving my clients, loving my customers, loving everyone that I interact with. And I'm able to have that impact in their life from that place of real conviction. That's one of the most amazing things about what I do. Because the more I do it, the more I grow myself. The more I grow, the more I get. It's like a big, beautiful circle.
So Rag, how can people get in touch with you? Where do they find you? And online, offline? What's the best way? What's your website, first of all?
Amazing. My website is my first name, surname, raghavparkash.com. So www.raghavparkash.com. You can find me there. That's my website. I'm on Facebook a lot. I'm very active on Facebook. If you add me on Facebook, you see my daily videos pop up. They're live, so you can interact with me as well, which is fun.
Oh, okay. And a parting message. We know you want to send that ripple effect out into the world. We're going to come off the call today after listening. Give us one thing to do today that will change. Not massively, of course. I agree. You're not the Messiah, but just one thing we can do today, particularly if we're maybe not the greatest place, that might, by sundown, make a little bit of a change. I'll put you on the spot here again, and I.
Yeah, I want to talk about, again, the biggest thing that I've learned in my journey in personal development, the biggest thing I've taken away from my mentor, Jim Rohn, it's to work harder on yourself than everything else, like anything else. If you want an amazing result, you've got to be the person that can create it. So if you're going through a tough time, for things to change, what has to change first is you. You must change. For when my life changed, when I went and broke through all those challenges, what shifted was not the shirt I was wearing or not the weather or the economy. It was my mindset. I got so sick and so tired of that lifestyle. I thought, enough's enough. I'm sick and tired of it. I shifted from within. My entire environment shifted from without. So for things to change, you must change. You've got to become the person that can create that shift in your world. So if you're stuck, just create self-awareness. What's missing? What is honestly missing right now? And when you know what's missing, or my mentor did this amazing exercise the other day. He drew like a almost complete circle and said, every day you've got to ask yourself, where am I incomplete? Where am I incomplete? And add value to yourself. So if you're stuck, missing. What is missing from your life right now? Whatever that is, take an action. You've got to act. Because the only way to create a shift is by creating change yourself. As Gandhi said, you've got to be the change you want to see in this world. So if you're stuck, don't settle, and I know people that live in the victim mentality, get out of that and think, what can I do to serve my future self? And then step up, act, and keep pushing. So you will create a shift. Once you shift from within, everything else will shift outside.
Thank you, Rag. You have been amazing. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much.
Your insights have been brilliant. Thank you so much. Is this you? You've been in business for years, but your personal situation is just not improving. No matter how much you earn or you take home, you cannot seem to accumulate enough cash to reduce your financial stress. Well, introducing the How to Build a Buffer of Personal Money and Stay Out of Debt checklist. It's a quick start system that will help you reduce debt, increase savings, protect your future, and enjoy yourself today without monthly boring budgeting. What you get is a one-page checklist that shows you the steps that you need to take to change your situation forever. And if you get the checklist, you also get access to a free mini course that takes you a little deeper. And this is for you. If you are in debt, you're just covering expenses, maybe you're ticking along, or you're getting used to having more money coming in than you are normally accustomed to, and you can do this system even if your earnings stay the same each month, or fluctuate. Isn't it time you paid yourself first? Go get your checklist at financialgymforbusiness.com/PM checklist. That's P for Papa, M for Mike, checklist. See you there.
Firmer Figures knows your money cuts down on strife. Time to trust your future. Firmer Figures, love your